This video will focus on operator evaluation for guard medic route high risk CC5 spectrum. If you've seen a clear with an operator that I didn't mention, it's likely because A, it's a defender or caster route and I did no research on these clears, or B, I'm a retard and didn't scour Billy hard enough. All of these operators are incredibly useful, but I'll mark the ones that are absolutely essential to all strategies. There's also a very useful sheet that I'll link in the description that focuses on the bare bones of risk 18 and risk 26 week 1 alongside risk 31 week 2, but doesn't cover non-max high risk, which is sort of what I'm focusing on with these videos. So without further ado, let's begin with Myrtle. Of course, she's going to see a ton of use, mainly for skill 1 due to DP risk, and she's essential. Nothing much to be said about her. Skadi has seen use of both her skill 2 and skill 3, with her skill 3 being essential in risk 31 due to the fact that risk 3 attack down kind of screws your Exusiai's ability to kill the Corrupted Knight. Besides, she's also incredibly helpful for lower risks with her skill 2, which does enable a pretty nice Hellakek strat for the crab lane. Kal'tsit is, although something that isn't as strong as Skadi in risk 31, is extremely prevalent in the mid 20s or even high 20s due to her ability to multitask. She can hold the left side, killing the Corrupted Knight with some help, alongside basically solo the Knight Shielders. Alongside that, she can also hold the middle lane with her skill 3, and also the crab lane with her skill 2, so overall an extremely strong option. Gladiia is used to deal with some of the crabs early game, and there's also a strategy that involves using her to bug the enemies into the fence tile shown here, in which the enemy's AI do not know how to react as they are in an inaccessible part of the map, and this can be used to permanently stall one of the Blade Helm casters, which is incredibly helpful for high risk. Ashe is also very good due to her ability to handle some of the the Knight Shielders in lower risks, and she can also be used to contribute damage onto those left side Blade Helm casters. Overall still extremely solid, but nowhere near the level of Exu. Next we have Saga, whose skill 3 makes her an amazing candidate for the early game. Her ability to have physical dodge allows her to do some things with the crab lane, and she's also nice as an opener for the left side. Mountain, although he does fall off due to his ability to not handle the crab lane at risk 30+, is still extremely solid in the left lane and does see use in high risk. And of course, this is not exclusively for risk 30+, because you can use him very well in risk 27 to 29 for the crab lane. For Rosmontis, she sees a surprisingly amount of use, and there's 2 risk 31 clears of her, I believe. She sees use in taking care of the left side Blade Helm caster, as well as doing some shenanigans with the right side. Of course, that's with her skill 3. Next on our list we have Surtr. I don't think I need to oversell how strong she is on this map, but she can be very helpful in taking care of the Knight Helm casters on the right side in conjunction with Suzuran skill 3, alongside Weedy cannon stun cancelling to stop the attack debuff. She's also used to damage the Withered Knight, which is the bow bro, later on into the stage, but that's not really the key selling point. Following her we have Thorns. You might think that he doesn't actually appear in high risk all that often, but in risk 26 week 1, which is outside the scope of this video, I'll admit, he sees a substantial amount of use, and there are clears of risk 28 and 29 with him basically carrying the left side, which I think is still substantial enough to warrant a mention of him on this list, although he doesn't see any use in risk 30 and 31. For Rosa, her skill 2 has been used in higher risk to kill the Knight Shielders on the left side, as well as in week 1 risk 26. Nothing else much to be said about her, she's like a miscellaneous mention more than anything. Now we have Weedy. Now, she's absolutely essential to basically every single high risk strategy due to how prevalent her shift cancelling is. If you didn't know, the Blade Helm casters cast a debuff every few seconds, which can be modified by risks, which basically cucks your operator's attack. Weedy sort of bypasses this because her cannon and her skill 2 can shift the enemy ever so slightly to prevent that from being cast and give enough of a DPS window for your operators to kill them without the need for them being stunned. so in most high risk you'll see her used alongside like a stun to basically mitigate most of the attack debuffs. Next with Elysium, of course you need to bring him due to DP risk, and he's insanely helpful for the left side as well. Even ignoring the fact that his defense debuff helps immensely with Exusiai, which is the main source of damage for the Corrupted Knight in most clears, his ability to reveal invisible enemies is a huge help because then it prevents you from bringing Tsukinogi, SilverAsh, or a blocker to store the Corrupted Knight, which is very helpful. Shamare is also a 5-star that deserves a great mention because, well, she's a core of basically all high-risk strategies, simply due to her defense debuff doing so much to aid Exia in killing the Corrupted Knight. Another point to add to her over Premnex is that she can actually be heli dropped if you let her charge the skill for the first time to full and then retreat her. Following Shamare we have Hellakek. Now Hellakek is in a weird spot because the only place I could see him used was on a meme strategy to take care of the crabs in the right side lane, so think of him as a Rosa or like a miscellaneous option. We also have Schwarz, and this one sees a surprising amount of use in the CC. For lower risks, she sees use as DPS to kill the Corrupted Knight to damage the Blade Helm casters, as well as to kill the Night Shielders on the left side. And in higher risks, particularly risk 30, you see her with a skill tier used to take care of the crab lane as I featured in my earlier video. SilverAsh, although not featured in a ton of clears, is also very relevant for this CC due to, well, him being SilverAsh. There's a bunch of clears where he sat at the top right corner and aided in dealing damage to the Blade Helm caster as well as stalling the crabs. And also I think I've seen him multiple times on the left side to kill the Night Shielders as well as to damage the Blade Helm caster. Next we have Angelina. Her skill 2 is very prevalent in being used to kill the Night Shielder in all of high risks. Although that doesn't sound very impressive, she is seen in almost every high risk clear, and her power shouldn't be doubted. Next we have Apple Pie, the star of this CC. She single-handedly takes care of the Corrupted Knight on the left side, as well as deals decent damage to the other enemies. She's also used to take care of the Bow Bro right before he enters the blue box for a substantial amount of strategies. Risk 31 wouldn't have been possible without her, well, except maybe with Carnelian, but that's irrelevant, and she's easily one of the most essential units in the CC. Following that, we have Exusiai's buff slave, Warfarin, and although that's basically all she does in this map, 90% attack plus is nothing to be scoffed at, and she's very irreplaceable. We also have Texas to boost Ash's stun duration, especially when you don't have a Rosmontis, in particular for the left side Blade Helm caster. Paired with Bagpipe's potential 5, she can instantly cast her skill 2, which is a very nice skill to have. Last but not least, we do have Suzuran, and she's one of those essential operators. She can amp your damage massively for skill 3, which I don't think I need to emphasize further on, as well as slow the enemies, which does help in the early game if you're using the Weedy crab strategy and need something to store the crabs.